Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York, a visual novel by Troll Distance. Last time we went into Gangrel territory and well, somebody's trying to show off his claws. As I am going into their territory, I don't think it's good to provoke a fight. So I've decided to go on. Easy there. Big shot, you made your point, okay? Confirmed badass. Just not looking for a fight here. Tamika tilts her head in a way that's barely noticeable, yet strangely expressive. She seems disappointed. The man loosens up, his lips twisting in a wry smile. Clearly, you just gave him the confidence boost he needed. Figures. You got that look about you. All style, no substance. Do even have to smell you. I know a sissy when I see one. Well, guess what? You ain't getting off that easy, chicken shit. A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm, yet oddly affectionate. It's okay, Ro. I'll handle it from here. The male Gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment. Then he turns back to resume. Fine. And not worth the effort anyway. Having said his piece, Raoul retreats into the shadows, although if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Straight to the point, huh? I like that. I don't care what you like. Now quit stalling. You have something to say it. Come with an offer. I'm willing to offer you my services such as they are. All I would hope for in return is a fruitful, long-lasting relationship. So, you want to help me with something? Because you want to be my friend? That about right? Yeah, when you put it that way, it does sound corny, doesn't it? Uh-huh. She puts on a veneer of skepticism, but you can tell she's intrigued. Corny? Not bad though. I think I'm okay with corny. What I'm not okay with is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So, what exactly should I trust anything you say? No. I don't expect you to, actually. Just not yet anyways. Good. Because my trust is earned, not given. Then let me earn it. A few nights of your time, that's all I ask. For a brief moment she stands there, motionless, looking straight into your eyes as if trying to size you up. Finally she looks away. It looks like she's come to a decision. Just so we're clear, I don't trust you, I have no reason to. Frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, there's something about you. Us kindred who are this pretty tender right underneath. But I don't smell it on you. So, I give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding business to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here and we'll see what you're really made of. And with that, Tamika disappears into the night. That went pretty well, all things considering. Well, I guess I can visit one more person. Didn't do perfectly. I know Gangrel are quite up for a fight along with the Bruja, but I'm Toreador. I mean, these threads are not made for fisticuffs, you know. The designer clothes. But yeah, having had a thought about this, look, I'm gonna go with Malkavian because who doesn't like the crazy? And if I can get all 4 in knights, I'm pretty okay with that, and how should I put it? As Toreador, working with a Nosferatu, as Sophie said, is kind of like off-putting. You don't... I mean, he is so bad he makes me look good, but I don't even want to invite him to make me look good, so to speak. And as much as we are artistically, I don't have enough of the beast in me as Toreador at all, and I don't have much of the inside. So either Tremere or Hope, or sorry, how was he called? Oh, you need to rest. That's unfortunate. Either Agathon or Hope are, in my opinion, the other possibilities, but I don't know what to say about that. That's a difficult choice for me. If I would have been Ventru, I would have gone straight to the Tremere and the Nosferatu. Those are just the Ventru tools to be used, so to speak. Maybe in another playthrough, and maybe this is something you would like to meet, but I'm gonna go with the two lovely ladies who are stone cold dead, don't worry. And yes, I also am spoken for, and I gotta continue on with this video. So, you notice something strange about the front door of your haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Oh boy. No hope then. We have a mystery person who would do so much effort to get close to me. She's back on the list. Upon returning to your haven, you find a small scrap of paper lying on your windowsill. Need a favor if you're still up for it. Come meet me in Prospect, Tam. Come on. Faith and Myth Part 1. The scared one searching for hope. Maybe you can do them all? Or maybe a few of them? I have the feeling this is a one-time thing only. This one I could have missed. I'm gonna accept this one. You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You have had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essentials of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at the Gothic facade, and yes, that is also one of the reasons why I want to go here, because I knew it's probably going to be a landmark. Hopefully somebody of New York enjoys seeing this. Hopefully this is done well. Please do not tell me though that not all your street lights are this red, because that's gonna give me goosebumps at night. Don't know whether they're from joy or from being somewhat perturbed by the New York late night scene, but let's have that for a discussion for another time. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect was meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Though I've always learned that if you want to move inconspicuously, you should move normally. And that sounds really stupid, but don't dress too fancy. Don't look all around where you need to go. Head down, head low. If you need to have a map, just look quickly on your telephone once. Don't constantly do it. That is the way not to attract attention, because if you constantly do it, it's noticeable. Or if you stand still, someone might ask where you need to go. You need to move at a brisk pace so that people avoid you much, but without having you see running and putting attention to you. At least that's what I've always had the feeling was the better strategy. But hey, I am not a burglar. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is someone in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you at all. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor, and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, a few strands escaping to the side. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale. Too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant's hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Ugh. Perhaps unconsciously you expected something like this. As a vampire walking into a cathedral. Only it's not a building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man. The priest. Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside you is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Intriguing. Because I'm an idiot. The only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. The emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions. Away. Can I help you? Are you okay? The priest talks to you like he would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. That would give it away. That doesn't give anything away, and this is too begging, so please. Dang, man, it hurts. Sit down and tell me what is wrong. It's simply too much. You mutter something incoherent in reply. You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You're just another sad, confused, lost soul. You turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, same as every night. Oh, fuck you. How'd it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well dressed, if archaic, dark hair, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Why does it hurt so much, man? Ah! Well, that's the question I wanted to talk to you about. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. Benoit offers his hand. Nope. Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? Benoit points to a park bench nearby, in darkness because of a broken street light. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. Bernot sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, what you just felt. I've experienced it myself, many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear Bernot sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later. But right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show you and tell you. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony. See him and experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? Does it matter? Isn't it better to just, I don't know, stay away? Maybe it is. Me? I couldn't. It's his face that makes you feel like that. He's saving his belief while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? You stop to think. Of course you wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature. You don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on unreliable opinions of people like Bernard. Suddenly Bernard takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. His heart stopped, so it did beat? My heart no longer beats, yet I move and talk. Is that how God intended us to be? Let me go of my hand, you asshole. But no, let's go of your hand and you quickly withdraw it. You're asking yourself these same questions. You know you are? Oh, you know you are that you're asking these questions. Sorry. I got it. Alright. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind. How do you know any of these stories are true? I don't. How could I know? This is what faith is. You have to believe something. Good and evil, right and wrong, love and hate. I believe we are damned. I also believe that there is always hope. Grace. Father Anthony's faith shows me the way. It's so easy for us to lose ourselves in a morass of cult speculation. Some of our kind revere Cain, others Lilith. Many in the Camarilla place their faith in the invisible guidance of the Methuselahs, who are supposed to watch over us. Yet I wonder how much that really matters when compared to the character of a good man. Look, did you have anything else, or did I just come here to talk about religion? I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside of them. I have somewhere else to be. I have to go. I can't concentrate when I know the priest is still inside. But no, Nos, patiently. Besides, I have another appointment. Let's meet again in a few nights. Here, at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've fought it through. You leave Bernot sitting in the shadows of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you've experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. But what does that mean? It means that this is a really weird thing. Please don't... thank you, that did not take the entire night, because that would have just been weird. Then I'm just gonna go immediately for Tam. Because then I'm immediately following up on our deal. Once again, you cross the gates of Prospect Park and head straight for where you last saw the feral duo. Minutes pass. Finding no sign of Tamika, you begin to worry that something might have happened to her. Suddenly, you hear rustling. Rustling? Rustling. I have a speech problem. Sorry. Coming from nearby bushes, and it's not the stray cat kind of rustling either. Hey, you in the bushes? You know I can hear you, right? The rustling stops, if only for a second. Suddenly the bushes part and Raoul walks out, desperately trying to look confident. Yeah, it's only because I wanted you to. Listen, I want to have a word before Tam gets here. She seems to like you for whatever strange reason. But the way I see it, you're a nuisance at best. At worst, you're a threat. I get it, you don't like me. Forgive me if I don't lose any sleep over it. You should be. Because when I don't like someone, I do something about it. And it's usually not pleasant. Tamika is my sister, and every sense of the word that counts. Anything happens to her that I find even remotely of fault, I'm coming after you. Is that clear? Tamika seems pretty capable. Don't think she needs your babysitting her. Oh, she's plenty capable. Given the opportunity, she'll rip your guts out if you cross her. What I'm saying is, if anything happens to Tamika, I'm holding you accountable. All of a sudden, the sound of footsteps reaches your ears. It's just faint enough to not be ostentatious, but still loud enough to hear. You can tell that whoever's approaching wants to make their presence known. Both you and Raoul turn just in time to see Tamika emerge from behind an old sycamore tree. It's hard to tell just how long she's been listening in on our conversation. In any case, she walks up and speaks, addressing no one in particular. Did I miss something? Oh. Sorry, did I miss anything? Nothing too important. We're just having a chat. Who are you now? She gives Raoul a scornful look, like she is about to rub his nose in his own crap. What about? Nothing. You know where to look for me, Tam. Sure do. And with that, Raoul takes his leave. Tamika waits in silence, just long enough to make sure he can no longer hear her, and addresses you. I have a favor to ask. She liked the CoNY, right? Sure, anything. She raises an eyebrow. Anything, huh? Careful, I might keep you to that. It's just a turn of phrase. Right. I have an errand to run. I was hoping you'd come with me. There's a place east of here. It's a short walk. We should be back in about 2, maybe 3 hours. Wait, we're walking? As in, on foot? In New York City? I don't like cars, alright? They remind me of old times. Before I became this. Can't be distracting. So shall we go? By the way, I apologize if the accent is overdone, but I'm trying to make the character sound differently, and I'm already having trouble enough as it is with a woman voice, so. Sounds kinda shady. Should I expect trouble? You should always expect trouble. But I'm not planning to start any. And so you head towards the parking lot, accompanied by Tamika and a lot of unanswered questions. Following Tamika's directions, you finally arrive at Evergreen Cemetery, one of the oldest burying grounds in Brooklyn. You enter through the southwestern gate and follow your companion through the sea of tombstones. It's a nice enough place as far as the graveyards go. Much less homogenized than the usual flat field littered with identical markers. In fact, if this is it looks pretty beautiful, if a little bit run down to me, for my personal tastes. Tamika confidently presses on, swerving and weaving along a pre-programmed path. It's clear that she's been here more than a few times. Finally, she makes a sharp left and takes a few more steps down a gravel walkway, coming to a sudden stop in front of a modest headstone. The inscription reads, Luca Santiago, beloved sister and daughter, born 1991, taken from us too soon. With her eyes fixed on the graveside, she lets out an absent-minded utterance. I need a moment alone. Not long. 5 minutes at most. You look around in search of a good spot to wait for her and pass the time. At the far end of a nearby lawn, you notice a lone bench situated under a weeping willow. Suddenly you hear voices, distant but slowly approaching. Judging by the tone and timbre, you're guessing it's a couple of teenagers out to get their late night kicks among the dearly departed. Might be a good chance to feed. Then again, you could just pass the time walking around the area. It's actually quite nice, in a dark and somber kind of way. I'll wait on that bench by the tree. Thank you. You sit on the bench and take a minute to relax and let your mind wander. Looking up at the willow swaying in the breeze, you soak in the atmosphere. Being a vampire sure has its moments. Finally, you get back to the tree and find Tamika sitting on the bench. Without a word, you sit next to her. Hey, what now that... I was sitting on the bench and I must have walked up from after sitting on the bench. That feels like I chose option 2, where I did choose option 1. And didn't want to feed right on a graveyard from a couple of teenagers. A couple of teenagers are not alone. That seems to me like a bad idea. And I don't want to disturb Tamika's moment. I do need to feed though, but right now we don't see any blood spatters around on the side edge, so we're not incredibly hungry. Though I do see this red spot over here, but I think that is within this frame. You look over to her, doing your best not to stare. She looks down, crossing her arms and putting her hands on her shoulders. In an instant, the ferocious savage disappears, replaced by a vulnerable young woman. I think I'm done. Luca, huh? So was she? A sister. And a friend. Sorry, I'm being monosyllabic again, aren't I? Monosyllabic? Short phrases, okay? She looks away. You can tell she's struggling to open up to you, so you remain silent, trying not to make her uncomfortable. I was embraced not far from here, in this cemetery. A fitting spot, I suppose. It was close to a decade ago. I've been on the road for a couple of years at that point, hitchhiking from one town to another. New York was supposed to be just another stop. And then I met Jezebel. She was strong, smart, independent. Seemed like someone I could trust, someone I could get close to. She never made me feel inadequate or ashamed. And she could hold her own in a fist fight too. Funny thing though, she only wanted to meet me during nighttime. I didn't think of it much of it. Even came up with excuses for her. Busy, eccentric, whatever worked. Until one night, she sank her teeth into my neck. Hey, at least you got to know your sire. Can't say the same for myself. For a brief moment, she looks at you with genuine sympathy. I'm now doubly glad, by the way, I didn't feed her, because that only could have brought up traumatized memories. I'm really happy with my choice there. I'm sorry. She then looks away, as if slightly embarrassed by her own reaction. Anyway, she left soon after turning me. I think the conclave of Prague really shook her up. Conclave of what now? Prague. It's a city in Central Europe. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm European, but it's the capital of the Czech Republic. It was supposed to be a neutral ground. A good place to discuss politics and strategy. It ended up almost turning into a civil war. Next thing you know, the Anarchs were expunged from the Camarilla. All they had done for our kind, the blood they spilled. It didn't amount to a thing. I can't blame Jezebel for being betrayed, for feeling betrayed. But yeah, even though I still had Raoul and Luca, I was still furious and terrified. Raoul we've seen, Luca was the one under the grave. Luca died a few years later. Operations Lightout, they called it. It was a coordinated assault by the Second Inquisition. A genocide by any other name. Our family got together, bought up a plot and buried an empty casket. I guess they want some closure. Can't fault them for that. Even though she's not really here, I like to come and visit from time to time. It reminds me of who I am. Keeps me in check. Keeps the beast at bay. So, Luca was embraced and well, but her family did. Oh, that's really cool. It's a nifty idea. Also, this being the place of my embrace, you have to appreciate that level of irony. She straightens up and looks at you as if something just occurred to her. Sorry, don't know what came over me. One minute I'm all grunts and stares, the next I'm giving you my biography. I guess I'm just tired, being scared, alone. But you have Raoul. I'm more alone than you are. What is the better answer? I know she just said the word alone, but I think that is not saying it entirely. I'm going to go for the second one. So you're looking for a place to belong. In all the wrong places, it seems. At this point, I'm just looking for something to believe in. Someone I could give a damn about. The Anarchs cherish freedom. So this is where I can go away from the Camarilla, but then I should have been a Bruja, in my opinion. Sophie has been nothing but kind to me, and she's Camarilla. I feel it will be a wrong step to go against them. So this game playthrough is not going to be Anarch. And yes, I got a reminder of Raoul, but that doesn't seem like a good idea. Well, you got me, for whatever that's worth. That's a good addition. She looks at you, her mouth drops open ever so slightly. You can tell she was expecting that. Yeah, I do, don't I? You open your mouth, but before you can make a sound, Tamika motions at you to keep quiet. She lifts her head and sniffs the air. Her ears perk up, and her eyes widen. Suddenly, she pushes you with all her strength, sending you flying off the bench. Before you even hit the ground, an immense shape flies into view and smashes down into the bench, splintering it into pieces. With the blood surging through your veins, you bound onto your feet. You look at the mass of fur and muscles that just nearly pulverized you. The creature rears its head, gives you a deranged stare. I think this is Raoul. It then turns to Tamika. She seems utterly terrified, frozen in place, as if she literally just saw a ghost. You notice the creature shifts its weight as if preparing to pounce. Or this is a true werewolf? That's not gonna help. We'll need to feed soon then. With your reflexes... Yeah, see? Now we need to start feeding. With your reflexes greatly enhanced, you're able to get over to Tamika and push her out of the monster's way. You both land safely on the grass while the beast flies through the air and smashes face first into the marble headstone. I'm really hungry now. The creature then turns towards you. For a second or two, it moves its mouth awkwardly, as if trying to remember how to form words. Stay out of my ground. The creature runs off towards a nearby clearing, when all of a sudden a gunshot sends it stumbling onto the ground. A group of well-armed men in body armor emerge from the shadows in an orderly formation and moving closer around the creature. We're not sure what to make of what's happening. You figure it's best to get out of sight. As you start backing away into the nearby bushes, you notice Tamika following your lead. From the relative safety of the thick foliage, you watch in silence as a group of armed men subdue the creature using steel nets and cattle prods. In the corner of your eye, you catch Tamika looking away, as if she finds the whole spectacle somehow distasteful. She speaks under her breath, her voice shaking. I won't be able to do that. Can we get out of here? You see no reason to object. The walk back turns out to be quite and somber experience. You both walk in silence, the city a blur of lights and cars careening by. You look over to Tamika. She seems lost in her thoughts. Finally, you decide to break the silence. Do you have any idea who those guys were? They looked like they knew what they were doing. They did. They spent their whole lives either training or hunting our kind. They're the Second Inquisition. It's been a while since I saw them operating in New York. Would never expect them to go after the scared one. Scarred one. Hell, until today I wasn't even sure he existed. The Scarred one? That's the only name he is known by. It is a cautionary tale for young Gangrel. It's what happens when you let the beast take over. I always figured him to be more of a metaphor. Seeing him in real life, it's like if a Christian just happened to run into Judas Iscariot one day. And seeing him haunted by the Azai, I don't know what to think. Don't even know what to start thinking. Deciding to give her some space, you spend the rest of the walk in silence. Can I please feed somewhere along the way, because that's not what I really want. Soon enough, the familiar tree of the Prospect Parks come into view. You stop by the entrance nearest to Tamika's haven. She keeps walking, without so much as a word or glance in your direction. She stops after several paces and turns back towards you. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming with me. But now I have a lot of shit to figure out. Once I do, I'll let you know. And with that, she disappears among the trees. Seeing no point in sticking around, you take your leave. Oh, please. I need a hunt. I need a hunt. I badly need a hunt. But that is probably for another episode. I will hit the rest button, but with that, we come to a new spot. And I say, I thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty.